What gets taught in a dysfunctional family is to apologize wrongly by trying to own when you've hurt someone by making your own self feel terrible. Dysfunctional families teach that if you really mean your apology, you will be nearly as broken by the pain of your bad behavior or more broken by the pain of your bad behavior than the pain you caused the other person. This is a childlike way. It's immature. It's regressed. It's a tit-for-tat dynamic. Oh, I hurt you? Then the solution is I should hurt myself to make it right. That leaves everybody hurt. Where's the goodness? Where's the health? That's not repair. That's more hurt. I should know better. You shouldn't even be with me. Why do you even love me? Woe is me. Martyr, martyr, martyr. I'm the worst boyfriend or I'm the worst mom. I suck. A pity party ain't it, y'all. This is also exactly how a narcissist martyrs themselves when backed into a corner. That's how they apologize. That puts me in the position of having to say, oh, come on, don't cry so hard. I'm not mad at you anymore. Repair does not mean fixing the issue you argued about. Now, take that in, because I know to some of you, that will be a total shock. We don't have to fix the issue at hand to be able to repair. Sometimes we can and will. And that's nice when you can get it and do it. Don't try to fix it all at once, the problem at hand and the repair. Let repair be its own separate thing from the problem that knocked you out of whack. You don't need to process the entire fight or have a solution to the dilemma to take the first step of repair. Sometimes just acknowledging that a rupture happened and that you want to repair it is enough to begin. That gets the ball rolling. Sometimes repair sounds like, I lost myself for a moment. I'm back now. Or, that was hard. I want to come back together. Can we find our way? If you find yourself or your loved one wanting to rehash, or you find yourself scared of trying to repair because what repair has historically dysfunctionally met was opening up the fight again to rehash, it's okay to name this. It's not a dirty secret. It's okay to say aloud, hey, I can't and won't rehash. Let's just work on repair. It's okay that we don't have this fixed today, and we can revisit it later with different energy. Hello, welcome to the show. This is Emotional Badass, where Moxie meets mindful. I'm your host, Nikki Eisenhower, life coach and psychotherapist. And on today's episode, we're discussing how to repair after a fight, especially when you've never seen healthy repair modeled. All right, y'all, welcome to the show. This is a big topic that we're going to cover today. It came up recently in one of my communities. You're always welcome to come check out what's going on, the different ways to work with me at emotionalbadass.com. And I promised my group members that I would do some episodes on repair because it is such a big topic. Repair after a fight when you've never seen healthy repair modeled is really tough. And it's something that takes a lot of intentional work, patience, and heart. Healing isn't about never messing up, y'all. It's about learning how to come back together after we mess up. It's one of those things that sounds really simple, and it is in theory, but when we come from a lot of dysfunction and chaos or narcissistic, immature parenting style, this can feel like a massive undertaking. I promise you there is so much that can be done towards you learning repair. So if you grew up in a home where fighting meant emotional withdrawal, punishment, that cold, silent treatment when people are upset, if you grew up with the dynamic of sweeping it all under the rug or kind of blowout chaos, you're likely to never have learned how to repair. You likely know that repair is a thing and having to come back together after upset is a thing, but you might feel completely outside of your element or your know-how about how to do that. It's one of the most vulnerable places that we can find ourselves as highly sensitive people. It's not your fault if you grew up in these dynamics. So many of us have. And none of this work is about blaming parents. It's about really understanding what has happened, what hasn't happened for us to get to where we are right now. And what do we really need to learn, to internalize, to allow, and to practice, which is ease, which is knowing how to do this stuff that makes our relationships better, stronger, more intimate, more fulfilling, more satisfying. Learning these skills now, no matter what your age, this is part of your empowerment. And it really is essential if you want to heal and break these cycles of emotional ignorance and immaturity that we're trying to break. This work is how you create a safer, healthier, more emotionally mature relationship, not just externally with other people. That'll happen too, but your relationship with yourself. And you get to do this work even when it feels scary, unfamiliar, or daunting. These are tips that I'm going to move through with nuance to help you find your way back to yourself and back to your loved ones after upset. These tips are going to be especially useful for those who have post-traumatic stress symptoms that they're dealing with. This really means nervous system overload and exhaustion. Here's the first tip. So you've had the fight, you're upset, the sort of fighting part is over. People have sort of separated to their corners like that ding, ding, ding in a boxing match. The fight is over. So what do we do now? You pause and you breathe. Now that's not a throwaway comment. That's not something for you to hear and go, yeah, I know I need to pause and breathe. I mean, stop and breathe. Not one breath, lots of breaths. Oxygenate your body. And as you do this, the next little micro step here is to simply name what happened. That might sound like, wow, that wasn't my best moment. Or that was completely overwhelming. Or wow, I don't even know what just happened. This is how we have to name what happened in the moment of us getting activated, getting lost in fight or flight, or so much overwhelm that we're freezing. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is own your part without shame. So part of owning what you need to own without shame is that you stop the muscle of over-explaining. This helps us learn how to stop spiraling and reject spiraling. What this really means is when we're uncomfortable and embarrassed and feeling ashamed and don't quite know what to do with ourselves or our energy, a lot of us, because we're verbal, y'all, we will just talk, and that creates the spiral. We can learn how to practice a simple, gentle, grounded truth. Patternscapes are a tool that I have created from my artistic expression and from my 20 years as a trauma therapist. The questions I've gotten asked the most are, how do I discover who I am? How do I learn to be still? How do I stop being hypervigilant? How do I stop overthinking? How do I meditate when everything in my mind and body wants to run around all over the place? Patternscapes are my answers to these questions inside of this box. You are layered and you are deep. Getting to know yourself is an art form. Patternscapes show you exactly how to spend 1 to 5 minutes getting to know you. Not the surface you, the deeper you. Modern life asks our bodies to do things we were never designed for. Constant rushing, constant noise, constant pressure to optimize and do more. No wonder our nervous systems are exhausted. The Patternscapes Wellness Deck is a tool I created to help you practice what I call emotional strength training, the art of slowing down long enough to feel what's happening inside you. If you're tired of living on emotional fumes, if you're looking for a holiday gift, visit getpatternscapes.com and pick up your deck and use code Black Friday. It's our first Black Friday sale, y'all, to save 50%. Pick up one for you, pick up one for someone you love. Use code Black Friday to get 50% off of Patternscapes for our biggest sale ever. Getpatternscapes.com, code Black Friday to save 50% now. Here's a second tip. Patience. And a simple reminder to yourself that is powerful. Underreaction and overreaction. That's what we're working with, right? Some of us underreact, some of us overreact. There's no moral judgment more associated with under or overreacting. Overreactors tend to get a lot of the spotlight, where underreactors tend to hide more. Underreaction and overreaction are not who you are. It's what you learned cognitively and behaviorally because it's what you saw modeled. Every misstep and mistake in this life, dysfunctional families universally teach that mistakes are not supposed to happen. And this is what gives birth to what I call the sneaky bastard of perfectionism that resides in so many highly sensitive people. To operate from a belief system that humans are not supposed to make a mistake and shame on you when you make one because you shouldn't have is ridiculous. Yet somehow it seems to be almost universal in dysfunctional families. We all get a lot wrong, y'all. We get it wrong in similar and different ways. We get it wrong before we get it right. Every wrong is an opportunity to fine-tune toward what is healthier or more right, more mature, more reasonable, more fair, more workable. And if we're learning our lessons as we go in life, certain personality disordered people do not learn these lessons as they go. If we're learning these lessons in this life, then we stack these lessons, the wisdom from these mistakes. We stack, we compound this new learning as we live, as we expand. And as Miss Maya Angelou is famous for saying, when we know better, we do better. The idea that we would be able to do better before we know, before we've learned, before we've gotten guidance, before we've made mistakes, is absolute insanity. If your brain and not your feelings or your ideas have true post-traumatic stress response, what happens is in the moment of a fight with a loved one or a friend, your system will respond to difficult or confusing, overwhelming stimuli, typically conflict in what we're talking about today, as if your life depends on it. Now that's very hard to understand because in most moments in our lives where we're getting triggered this way, no, our life does not depend on it because we get in an argument with our partner about loading the dishwasher or leaving the socks on the floor or peeing on the toilet seat. That's not life-threatening. So it's very confusing to someone who struggles with these symptoms when their system comes back down from this trigger and their thinking rational mind instead of their primal protective mind washes back over them. And they think, why did I get so upset? How embarrassing. How mortifying. How the hell do I explain this? If this is what's been happening for you in your relationships or during a fight or a conflict, it really is a nervous system response. And it's not a reflection of who you are. If anything, it's a reflection of how resilient your system is. It's just still a little fried and frazzled. And a lot can be done to soothe that and repair that over time. Learning repair with other people in your life will also help soothe your nervous system. This is very important in life, in our relationship with ourselves, and in our relationship with other people. Because other people have to have conflict with us. They have to speak up and say things that are hard to say too. And we have to learn how to weather that, even in our nervous system. To repair with another person, you must understand that the deeper work over time is to repair with yourself. And that will lead you to better repairing with others. Everything I share today about repair with the external can also be said about you repairing from the wise adult part to your inner child part. So if I say something crappy or rude or I'm snippy, however I might fail in any moment in relating to another human being, yes, I owe ownership and apology to the person in front of me. That's repair. Because I just infected them with some crappiness. And it's on me to attempt to right my wrong and take that crappiness back, if you will. But I also owe that apology from adult me to inner child me. And that starts with the acknowledgement that sounds like this. Oh, sweet girl, or sweet boy if you're male. That was not my best moment. Here's another way to say that. Oh, sweet girl, or sweet boy. That was not okay. That was not how I want to be. It's as simple as that. Look back at your childhood. Did you have people that could just simply look at you and say, I'm sorry, my bad. I need to be able to do better than that. I might not even know how right now, but I'm willing to learn some new things. so that I can be better in those moments for me and for you. You must help quiet that inner critic and allow space for compassion for what you've been through, for what you're trying to learn, and for the tenderness and vulnerability of repairing when you've never seen it done. This self-compassion is necessary. It actually creates the emotional room that you need to be able to reconnect with yourself and another after an upset. Here's a third tip. Start very simple. I call this radical honesty. Many highly sensitive people get caught up, stuck in trying to say the right thing, and then they just get stuck. So I want to say that being authentic with yourself and someone else isn't about saying the right thing as much as it's about being able to say the wrong thing, if you will, the right way. That might sound like me approaching someone in an attempt to repair after a fight. I feel really embarrassed. I want to reconnect, but I don't know how yet. Do you see how you don't have to have the thing, like the magic thing to say that fixes the problem or takes back whatever hurts were had? We just have to learn how to speak the simple, radical truth. I'm so mortified or I'm so confused by my own reaction, I don't even know what to say to you. But I know I'm supposed to say something. Here's another simple, radical truth. I don't want to have this disconnection go on any longer between us. Here's another. I care about us and I want us to figure this out. I'm scared, but I also trust that we can figure this out together. Or thank you for being patient with me as I try to figure out how to do this repair thing. I know I'm screwing it up, but I'm learning every time. Here's some more. I know it's on me to come back together, but I feel stuck as to how. I hope you can hear how much you don't need the perfect words. You just need honest ones. If you grew up not seeing honest expression, give yourself some grace and space and patience to learn how to do this. As stupid as this sounds, it might be a great exercise to practice saying things wildly simply when you're not upset, when you're not trying to repair. Like, oh, could you please hand me that water that's sitting on your desk? Or, wow, I find myself a little fuzzy today, or I have some brain fog. Or, yes, I'd like some more coffee. Or, no, sit down, because I want you to see this trap here. In this moment of, after a fight, needing to repair, our inner child can feel so guilty and shameful because it's feelings that were given to us in the past, that we weren't allowed to make a mistake or screw up, ever. Dysfunctional families teach you're supposed to feel shameful. Part of their dysfunction is thinking that shame motivates you into some sort of right behavior. No, it doesn't. Shame is too much. Shame is, I feel awful. The person that I am is bad. Guilt is, oh, the thing that I did was a mistake. Guilt motivates us to do the right thing. Shame diminishes our permission to live a good life. So in a moment of repair after the fight, our inner child feels so guilty and shameful. Those old feelings. Feels bad, all around bad, inadequate. These are the layers. That inner child feels inadequate. Your adult self feels inadequate. Deep down, we know in that moment where we're facing repair that we should know how to do this. It highlights for us psychologically how much we missed out on having a dysfunctional family. We know deep down something should be a lot more simple about this repair thing, but boy, we just don't know how to access that. So here's the kicker. When family of origin is emotionally stunted and does not do the work to grow into mature coping that works, they model what does not work. And this is another almost universal thing. If and when a dysfunctional person who just doesn't know any better, but does try to put some effort towards repairing, here is how they universally get it wrong. And this is likely what was modeled for you if this was modeled for you. What gets taught in a dysfunctional family is to apologize wrongly by trying to own when you've hurt someone, by making your own self feel terrible. Dysfunctional families teach that if you really mean your apology, you will be nearly as broken by the pain of your bad behavior or more broken by the pain of your bad behavior than the pain you caused the other person. This is a childlike way. It's immature. It's regressed. It's a tit for tat dynamic. Oh, I hurt you? Then the solution is I should hurt myself to make it right. That leaves everybody hurt. Where's the goodness? Where's the health? That's not repair. That's more hurt. I need y'all to hear this if you grew up with this dynamic. This is one of the most regressed and dysfunctional things we will accidentally continue coming out of a dysfunctional family. And it's sad but true, but this is very normalized and deeply dysfunctional in our American Western culture. I'm saying it like a caveman because it's very caveman-like. I hurt you. Now I hurt me. Now it better. Y'all, we have to do better than this. We really do. So if you hurt me and I'm a mature person, I don't want you to sit there and hurt yourself. Guess what position that puts me in? You now have a pity party for yourself because you hurt me? How does that help me? And now I'm in the position because you're hurting yourself to try to make you feel better. That's where we get caught in this cycle of me, the person that needs the apology now, needs the ownership, needs the repair. And you're coming to me and doing that by hurting yourself in front of me. I should know better. You shouldn't even be with me. Why do you even love me? Woe is me. Martyr, martyr, martyr. I'm the worst boyfriend or I'm the worst mom. I suck. A pity party ain't it, y'all. This is also exactly how a narcissist martyrs themselves when backed into a corner. That's how they apologize. That puts me in the position of having to say, oh, come on, like, don't cry so hard. I'm not mad at you anymore. Come on, like, it's not that big of a deal. Please don't be so upset. And this is how the originally hurt person sweeps their own repair needs under the rug. And then they justify it because, gosh, my partner had a really hard life and they just don't know what they're doing. Number 4, I've already touched on this a little bit, but it deserves its own number. Distinguish guilt from shame. Guilt says, oh, I recognize I did something wrong, and that guilt motivates me to repair. If I step on your toe, that guilty feeling makes me go, oh my goodness, are you okay? Please sit down. Let me get you some ice. Is your foot okay? Do we need to go to the ER? Are you all right? Shame says, I'm a terrible, awful, bad person because I'm the foot stomper. Do you see how shame doesn't really do a whole lot that's good, positive, adult, mature, owning, or forward motion? You can take responsibility without self-destruction and shame. That's emotional maturity in action. Owning it is, I dropped the ball. I'm sorry. I'm doing what I can do now to make it right. And then showing that you're actually doing that, not just saying it cheaply. It's not a sobbing, blubbering, I know I'm the worst. What is wrong with me? You have every right to not want me at your wedding or consider me for the promotion. Trying to get out of something by becoming the most pathetic and upset and hurt is manipulative and maladaptive. It's like stealing the victim spotlight when that's not the proper spot for you to stand in this moment. Ownership is standing in the truth of being a flawed, imperfect human who is willing to own a mistake. And the energy of that is not poor, pitiful me, I'm such a screw up. The energy in a healthy way is chin up, words loud and clear, no mumbling, no shifty eyes at the ground, eye contact energy, y'all. Shoulders spread, full on addressing the issue. Side note with parents of teens, if you are not teaching your children to own themselves in this way, you're inviting them to a life of not giving or getting as much connection, intimacy, and respect as I think they deserve. Here's number 5. Repair does not mean fixing the issue you argued about. Now, take that in, because I know to some of you that will be a total shock. We don't have to fix the issue at hand to be able to repair. Sometimes we can and will. And that's nice when you can get it and do it. Don't try to fix it all at once, the problem at hand and the repair. Let repair be its own separate thing from the problem that knocked you out of whack. You don't need to process the entire fight or have a solution to the dilemma to take the first step of repair. Sometimes just acknowledging that a rupture happened and that you want to repair it is enough to begin. That gets the ball rolling. Repair is getting the ball rolling back to connection. The truth of adult relating, even in the healthiest of dynamics, is that sometimes we will just rub each other the wrong way. We will be sandpaper to each other, or like bumper cars, bumping each other with not our greatest moods or tones or ideas. Sometimes the issue we fought about isn't a fixable issue, and it's just a human sandpaper rub or a human bumper car collision. Sometimes there's nothing to fix. It's just a moment that needs to be done. That's different than sweeping something that does need more airtime under the rug. Let a first step in repair be allowed. From a more repaired place, the very dilemma that got you into this pickle in the first place, your perspective may shift. Your energy, your partners or your friends or your bosses, whoever it is you're having the conflict with, may also shift. Some solutions may present themselves. The problem may even seem different after the fight than before. It really is okay to walk towards repair and put a pin in whatever the issue was. Number 6, remember that body language is a really big part of communication. Y'all, we're highly sensitive people. We are the people that value talk therapy type things. We are the wordy people. And sometimes the consequence of that is that we overvalue verbal communication and really sort of poo-poo and dismiss other very important forms of communication. After you've had a verbal fight, you might not need as much verbal as you think to repair. You can use your own body language to soften the energy. With yourself, you can put a hand on your heart. It'll help you ground. You can put both hands on your heart. You can give yourself a hug. You can sit in your comfiest chair. You can grab a blanket that really makes you feel cozy and safe. If it's available, and you have to be able to be very honest and truthful with yourself and the other person. You might not be in the energy to be able to do this. I know there are times if I gotten angry or upset, I might need a little bit more time to be able to do this part. Me wanting to be able to instantly do this part doesn't make it so. I have to be able to be honest and assess myself truthfully, not mask with how I want it to be. If you can access this, being able to reach out and touch the person you had this upset with, this fight with, can be very grounding. In our own body language, we want to have an open stance. It's very different to be open in your arms and body language than arms crossed, scowling face, tapping your foot. Don't let your body show so much of your frustration. Let your body be invited to peace, to help inform your insides that it's okay to get more peaceful. So if you're crossing your arms, if you're scowling your face, soften it. Let those arms go. Find a posture that is more conducive to gentleness, to kindness, instead of defensiveness, anger, hurt, protection. Soften your voice. Allow eye contact. If it's available to you, a hand on the other person's arm or thigh, if that's partly reasonable for your relationship. I'm not saying that for a boss. You can even reach out and touch the other person's heart. Full palm on their heart and ask them to put full palm on yours. Sometimes that touch says, hey, remember who we are? And your touch can communicate that so much better than your words now. If you're having conflict with someone who is not reasonably consistent or reasonably mature enough for your system to honestly feel safe, please acknowledge this to your own inner child and offer these steps of repair that I'm offering with yourself, especially if and when repairing with another person is not safe to work on, if it's not reasonable or available. For what I'm going to call nervous system sensitive people, these cues matter a lot. because communication is so much more than words. Now, it takes time to learn that even uncomfortable conflict is still safe with a safe person. You might know it up here, but we have a conscious self and we have a subconscious self. I like to say it has to marinate, and we don't know how long. But if you let it marinate long enough, there will be a point where your subconscious goes, oh, this is what you want me to get? Conflict with this person is way safer now and more reasonable than it ever was when we were young. Okay, I got it. But you have to practice. You have to emotionally strength train and marinate in this stuff until that moment when your subconscious gets it. Patternscapes are a tool that I have created from my artistic expression and from my 20 years as a trauma therapist. The questions I've gotten asked the most are, how do I discover who I am? How do I learn to be still? How do I stop being hypervigilant? How do I stop overthinking? How do I meditate when everything in my mind and body wants to run around all over the place? Patternscapes are my answers to these questions inside of this box. You are layered and you are deep. Getting to know yourself is an art form. Patternscapes show you exactly how to spend 1 to 5 minutes getting to know you. Not the surface you, the deeper you. Modern life asks our bodies to do things we were never designed for. Constant rushing, constant noise, constant pressure to optimize and do more. No wonder our nervous systems are exhausted. The Patternscapes Wellness Deck is a tool I created to help you practice what I call emotional strength training, the art of slowing down long enough to feel what's happening inside you. If you're tired of living on emotional fumes, if you're looking for a holiday gift, visit getpatternscapes.com and pick up your deck and use code Black Friday. It's our first Black Friday sale, y'all, to save 50%. Pick up one for you, pick up one for someone you love. Use code Black Friday to get 50% off of Patternscapes for our biggest sale ever. Getpatternscapes.com, code Black Friday to save 50% now. So number 7, here we go. Offer something to yourself and to the other person that is co-regulating. Now, if you don't know what that means, it's really, really simple. When we feel that sort of frenetic energy in our body, when we are truly triggered, we are dysregulated. We know this about babies now. When I was a baby, they did not know this. They know this now. Babies and very small children cannot self-regulate. They regulate their breathing, their heart rates, their nervous systems, their being by feeling what the adult that's holding them and caring for them is feeling. That's how their nervous system regulates. So if you think about that, if you've been with me a long time and you know my story, what that means for me is that, oh, even if my mom was holding me and nursing me, which she did, she was a very dysregulated person. She was very irate, reactive, angry, resentful, not very warm. That's what I was feeling. No wonder my nervous system has had such a hard time. It's very likely I did not get enough positive, grounded co-regulation. Likely, if you're listening to this show, you haven't either. So this is a part of repair. This is a part of growing up with safety and security. That if we have an upset, if we hurt somebody's feelings, we come back together with more ease and we hug. We actually co-regulate. We come back to goodness together, if you will. Here are some functional, actionable, simple, easy ways that you can offer co-regulating to yourself and to another. Would it feel good to take a walk together? Notice I'm saying offer. We're offering co-regulation because we're working with other adults. We're not going to demand it. We're not going to declare that this is what we're going to do next because it's right. Would it feel good to take a walk together? I think I might like to take a walk. That might help me. And if they say yes, cool, go together. If they say no, it's okay to go with your own inner child. Here's another. Can we sit quietly for a bit and just be near each other? What if we just made some tea and didn't talk yet? Would that work for you? I think that would work for me. Other things you can do? Just sit and color. You can't be in survival mode if you're sitting and coloring. Breathing together is a way that we may co-regulate. Breathing together is a way that we definitely co-regulate. If this sort of intimacy is available with your partner, sitting back to back and breathing, where you don't have the intensity of eyeballs looking at each other for what are we going to do next, can very much help soothe that nervous system back into a grounded, rationally thinking state. Here is a very tangible suggestion. You can make a repair jar, putting pieces of paper with at least 8 to 12 co-regulating repair activities. Going for a simple drive, going to your favorite park, going for a walk, listening to music, coloring, drawing together, just sitting and having tea. There are endless simple ideas. Number 8, validate. Now, all of you out there, part of why you listen is because I validate your experience. And when we validate, what we're really doing is we're saying, no, you're not crazy. Yes, this makes sense. Yes, I understand you and I see you. I'm with you. We're on the same page. We're seeing eye to eye. We're feeling heart to heart. We're together again. So validation very much relates to repair. We learn over time how to validate someone else's experience when we're in the wrong or we've had an outburst or a fight. We can validate someone else's experience without collapsing into shame, without giving excuses or explaining. Now, the excuses and the explaining, understand what that is. That's how you make yourself try to feel better. That's not for the other person. That diminishes ownership. Right in the moment when you're trying to own it, you're also diminishing it when you're giving your reasons, which is really defensiveness that's trying to not sound defensive. It's accidentally dismissive even when you don't intend it to be so. This is simple, y'all, but not easy. I had to admit to myself many years ago that all I had ever seen was absolute total defensiveness, blame, deflection, minimization. And I was under my own accidental dysfunctional spell for a while there as a young woman. And that dysfunctional spell really cast the idea that I was definitely doing better than my family was with fighting, arguments, and repair because I was willing to try to own it when I screwed up. That wasn't something my family tried to do. And I knew I should do that, and that was good and right for me. But despite my smarts and this healthy intention, I really thought, like I know so many of you out there listening really still think, I thought that explaining and making excuses that I thought were explanations were the apology part. I thought that my explanations were my attempt at repairing when they were actually still me stuck in dysfunction. If I say this in an I statement, the hard lesson was that I was objectively well-intentioned and better at trying to deal head on with this than my family, but better than my family dynamic was still far from actually healthy. It's a very important concept. So how do we validate without slipping into so much justification for why we hurt the other person? Here's how that can sound. I can see how what I said hurt you. Period. The end. Not, I can see how that hurt you, but I was really overwhelmed and I didn't mean it. Or I can see how that hurt you, but I really didn't mean it that way. And I wish you wouldn't have taken it that way. Here's some healthy language. I accept that I need to handle that differently for both of us. You have every right to be upset with me. I understand why you're upset. Here's another. Your feelings make sense. So you don't have to like somebody else's feelings to acknowledge and validate that their feelings make sense, that their feelings aren't crazy. So many of us have been gaslit. What a powerful thing to say and or receive. Hey, your feelings make sense. Here's another. I reacted instead of responding, and that is not what you deserve or how I want to be when we disagree. Do you hear how ownership and validation really has it is what it is, period. There's no, it is what it is, but it is what it is, but yeah, this, then that, and the other thing. It's just period, the end. That's all. Here's some more healthy language. I see where I screwed up, and I recognize that I wore you out arguing. The point of validating someone else, or the way that we validate someone else, is understanding that you're not saying you're terrible. Oh, I'm so awful. I did this to you. You're not doing that. You're saying, you're acknowledging, you're validating. I see you. There's a visualization that helps here. To validate, you just become a reflective mirror. You say what you see. A mirror just shows what it sees. It doesn't try to change anything about the image. It doesn't try to make you look better or different or adjust the lighting. It just reflects. When you're validating somebody else's experience, particularly when you feel raw and hurt and unsettled, just be that mirror. Name what you see. Wow, I can see how upset you are. Wow, I can see how upsetting this was. Wow, I see how much energy this took. Number 9. Here's a very powerful, gentle question that we can ask ourselves and others after a fight. What would help you feel closer right now? Now remember, this is not about fixing. It's about inviting connection. Do you see how that's an olive branch? It's so much more than a question, right? That is an olive branch. It is an offering. What would help you feel closer right now? It's an acknowledgement that, hey, I'd like to feel closer, and I'm ready for that. Are you? This model's healthy, present-focused communication. I know most of you will say, I don't know. I don't know what'll make me feel closer. And in all things healing and growth and maturity, y'all, I'm saying this with like a mama energy. I don't know is simply not allowed because it will keep you stuck and stunted. You're not allowed to just stop at, I don't know, because it's hard to think about. I don't know. When people say a good relationship takes work, the actual work means not stopping at, I don't know. The work is figuring out an answer to that question. And you must. You must. We all must. That's where the growth happens. What will make me feel more connected right now? Sitting still together is an answer. Watching our favorite show together so my nervous system can come back down. Breaking bread, having a meal. Both of us reading in bed. Holding hands. Doesn't matter what you answer. It just matters that you do. You get to be creative here. Simple and creative. Maybe a hug. I could use a hug. How about a hug? Number 10. Repair doesn't mean rehashing. If you're trying to rehash, you are stuck in that consciousness of, I gotta fix this. You don't have to dig up every detail to move forward. Sometimes repair sounds like, I lost myself for a moment. I'm back now. Or, that was hard. I want to come back together. Can we find our way? If you find yourself or your loved one wanting to rehash, or you find yourself scared of trying to repair because what repair has historically dysfunctionally meant was opening up the fight again to rehash, it's okay to name this. It's not a dirty secret. It's okay to say aloud, hey, I can't and won't rehash. Let's just work on repair. It's okay that we don't have this fixed today, and we can revisit it later with different energy. Anxiously attached people. I was one for a long time. This is a place where you gotta engage some self-soothing. You can't hinge your anxiety on forcing another person to show up the way you want. It's not a healthy thought to think, but I need to resolve this so that I can feel better. My anxiety won't go away until this is resolved. I understand those feelings, but that responsibility to self-soothe needs to be on you. To give that job to somebody else. Think about what I said earlier, maybe even in the first episode, about babies need to co-regulate. What's happening here psychologically in this moment when we look at someone and say, but I can't move on, I can't be okay unless you resolve this with me first. What you're doing there is saying, I'm unwilling to work on self-care as an adult. I'm unwilling to try to regulate myself, and I'm giving that job to you. It's very needy. And in the moment of needing to have a repair, instead of offering the repair, it puts the hope for healing or that repair fully on the other person. Then you get to feel victimized because this person just won't give you the peace that your anxiety is begging for because they won't resolve it yet. And damn it, you have a right to, so that you can feel better. Now, I'm talking about this with honesty. I'm not talking about when someone is definitely trying to make you feel bad by intentionally not repairing or not fixing the issue at hand when it could be figured out just because they know you're upset. That's passive aggressive. It's hurtful. It's immature. It's not a great coping strategy. But I want to encourage you to really just step up and own this, that there are times when you will get that co-regulation, where you will be able to resolve it in the moment, but not every time. Sometimes the other person needs time, space, rest, or repair. Chris and I likely will wind up talking about this. I have, in our relationship, needed a little more space and time to come to repair than what made sense to him in the first few years we were together. So we've negotiated and grown in this for ourselves and for each other. Now this is much easier even when it's still hard. It may never be your preference to have to wait on the other person to sort of get there, or to have to go along your own merry way to do some self-soothing. But that's a part of adulting. And as an adult, we don't get to just exclusively get our own preference. That's what's tricky and hard at times about negotiating getting our needs met versus somebody else getting their needs met. It's an imperfect, messy process. We do well to radically accept that and work with it instead of try to make it perfect or try to get our need perfectly met. Number 11, we have to learn how to make room for mutual repair. I might also call this giving grace to both parties. When both people can say, that was hard and I want to repair with you. Healing becomes relational, not just personal. We repair in this relational space. I cannot repair with another person who is unwilling or unable in this moment to meet me in a reparative energy. Now, dysfunctional homes are famous for teaching what we call right fighting. And this is an unfortunate dynamic that programs people to think they need to establish being right. Their ego needs to establish being right, so much more so than establishing connection and repair. If you were raised by right fighters, and signs of that are if you need to get the last word, or if you need to be validated as you were right, you weren't wrong, before you can make room for mutual repair, then your ego may be in the way, and you may not even know this. Right fighters also lean into martyrdom. So check in with yourself here. If you think you were raised by a martyr, do some self-reflection on whether you are a right fighter, which makes connection and mutual repair damn near impossible, y'all. We can replace that right fighting impulse with a real motivation towards repair and connection and groundedness. This is a big part of what people mean when they say working on the ego. So notice that part of you in things big and small that just wants to be right. All of us like that. We all have a human ego. But we need to really learn where and when that works and is appropriate, and when it foils our efforts to be close and intimate. All right, number 12. Model healthy repair, even if your partner, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your friend, whoever you got in a fight with. Model healthy repair, even if they don't yet. If you're the first to try to repair, that doesn't mean you're weak and giving in. Conversely, it doesn't mean you're a better person because you were ready to repair first. It just means that you've learned healthy repair and it's available to you now. And it might be available to you much more quickly than it is for another person. It means you're leading with emotional courage and maturity, and that's a strength. We don't want to engage this tit for tat, I'm not going to be better till you show up better. That means everybody's doing worse, y'all. And again, that's something that's modeled, that tit for tat. No, you do the right thing first. I'm not going to do the right thing first. Is very much modeled in dysfunctional, immature, or narcissistic family systems. While it's true that it's not our partner's job to heal our childhood wounds or to grow our emotional intelligence for us, it's an inside job. We have to do it ourselves. We do model and help each other when we're in each other's lives. We share our strengths with each other. So if you are the part of the relationship that has more of a natural or more of a learned strength at this point to be able to offer repair, don't be stingy with it. Know that you're helping model something for someone that maybe didn't ever have it modeled. That's an act of love. If you have a secure attachment style and you're with someone who doesn't yet, know that it's okay for you. It's right, it's healthy to model your healthy attachment style, to model being grounded, to model that you know it's not the end of the world and it's repairable. Now, don't let up on requiring your relationship to continuously work on healthy connection and repair. But if you can do it a little sooner, go ahead and lean in and be the modeler. Number 13, and I think this is the last one I've got on my list for you. Let mature love be the muscle you emotionally strength train. Not fear, not sweeping it under the rug, not enabling, not telling yourself you're helping people by not helping them grow the muscles that they need. Let mature love be the muscle you emotionally strength train. Don't accidentally continue emotionally strength training fear. Learning repair is worth it. Support yourself in that pursuit. Don't frighten yourself when it's hard. I promise you, it won't always be as hard as it might be today. Just like driving, isn't driving easier than when you were first learning? Just like walking, when we were small, we all fell down on our booties a lot and we stumbled. Then we walked. Think about your first day on any job. Remember how awkward that felt? How out of your element, not knowing exactly what to do. And the only way you learned how to do that job was being thrown into it, right? In a way, we have to not put ourselves in some kind of bubble and expect to be all healed up and then we go out and relate to people. We learn how to do this stuff by throwing ourselves into the job. That means we have to embrace and understand that it is going to be awkward. That awkward doesn't mean we're doing it wrong, and awkward doesn't mean we'll never get it. Don't ever allow shame or guilt wash over you for doing the brave work of learning something vulnerable and new and intimate. Don't be down on yourself for learning something that enhances your quality of life and all of the relationships around you. If you want to feel guilty about something, feel guilty about knowing repair is an issue and choosing not to address it. If you are attempting to address this in good faith, you are courageous and you are growing in wisdom. You are growing in quality of life when you lean into this work. I say this with more maternal and southern energy from the bottom of my big heart. No, sweet woman or sweet man, you're not allowed to feel badly in any way for working to better yourself, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Now, I can say that in that mama way. I can't decide it for you. Only you can decide it for you. I just want it for you. And I hope you don't just want it for you, but you follow that want and that desire with the willingness to show up actionably for you. Don't you deserve that from you? The very stuff you didn't get from your family of origin. Who do you think is going to give it to you, if not you? So here's my final thought. You don't have to be perfect to be safe for yourself or someone else. You just have to be willing to reflect, reconnect, and return to that love. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being with me as my voice cracks and my eyes water as I tear up and get a little emotional. It makes me emotional because I'm speaking the words that I was desperate to hear for so long in my life, that I have figured out for me and so many people who have bravely shown up to first my physical doorstep for 9 years when I had a traditional private practice. And then these last 7, now getting closer to 8 every day, I've had a 19-year career. I have met thousands of people in this work. So much courage, so much willingness, so much resistance too. But if you're here, you're willing. Thank you for being one of the willing. It matters. As corny as it sounds, it really, really, really is how we heal this insane world we are living through that is sort of like this medieval emotional and mental time, despite all this tech and modernization we're surrounded by. Thank you for your willingness. Healing yourself is not the least you can do. It is the most you can do. Thank you. Thank you. I am an emotional badass. You are an emotional badass. And together, we are where Moxie meets mindful. And may we all get stronger repair muscles. Till next time, take care of yourselves out there. Light and love. Bye-bye.